Ceremony. We appreciate each and every one of you coming out today. I am Brent Graves. I will serve as your Master of Ceremonies, and we'd like to welcome you again to this event. It is sponsored by the Stephenville Masonic Lodge 267, the 2nd Texas Frontier District Camp 1904, Sons of the Confederate Veterans, and Major George B. Erath Chapter 2679, United Daughters of the Confederacy. And we'd like to thank each and every one of those members. But at this time, I'd like to introduce Reverend Joe Rogers, pastor of Morgan Mill Baptist Church, to give a invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, and we thank you for this one. Not only for the one, Father, but for the many who place their lives on the line every day. We thank you for their protection, for our safety, our provision, our property, our freedom. We thank you for James Mastin, serving as sheriff and lost his life. Knowing your word in John the 15th chapter, verse 13, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
Awful lot of work went in to make this monument possible today, and we'd like to recognize the members of each one of those organizations. Members of the Stephenville Masonic Lodge 267. Members of the 2nd Texas Frontier District Camp 1904, Sons of the Confederate Veterans. Members of the Major George B. Erath Chapter 2679, United Daughters of the Confederacy. Thank you, ladies. Special thanks goes out for raising money for Benevolent Law Enforcement Officer Fund to Cowboy Capital Jeep Club. At this time, I'd like to introduce Erath County Judge Tab Thompson.
On June 25th, this date, in 1887, Erath County Sheriff James Mastin was shot and killed when he and 2 deputies went to a farm near Stephenville to arrest a horse thief named Boone Wilson. After searching the house, the officers went out the back. The suspect suddenly stepped from behind a tree and opened fire on the officers, mortally wounding Sheriff Mastin. So much time has passed that it is not known exactly where he is buried. So today, we finally honor the memory of Sheriff James Mastin with a proper monument. This monument sends the message to all who pass by that we honor not only this sheriff who gave his life protecting the people of Erath County, but also our current law enforcement officers and all of their staff.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Erath County Sheriff Matt Coates to talk about the obstacles of sheriffing in 1870s.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to speak before you today on this great occasion. It's also nice to serve in the great state of Texas, where law enforcement is still highly regarded. I'd like to take a few moments just to talk about the differences between Sheriff Mastin in 1877 versus myself in 2017. I am extremely proud and honored to be your sheriff of Erath County. I am glad to have this role in 2017 versus 1877. I thank you again for your support for the entire law enforcement family.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you our District Attorney, Alan Nash.
Fighting crime has always been a challenging line of work. Trying to keep people from stealing, killing, and destroying has been a calling of lawmen and women since the earliest times of history. Tools of the trade have changed with technology. For hundreds of years of American history, the basic mission of law enforcement was this principle founded in the Constitution: to ensure the domestic tranquility of our communities. At this time, I would ask all of the law enforcement and retired law enforcement who is here to stand up or raise your hand if you're already standing. God bless everyone who wears a badge.
This time I'd like to introduce Sharon Weibel, President of Major George B. Erath, Chapter 2679 of the United Daughters of the Confederacy.
It's a pleasure to be here today, and a double pleasure to to introduce to you all the great-great-grandson of Sheriff Mastin, Mr. David Crawford.
I want to say what an honor it is today, and I am truly overwhelmed with the amount of work and the diligence and commitment and really the character shown by everyone that's been involved with this.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Vance Wade, who was a vital part of this project, and also Kenneth Leatherwood, as well as Sarah Leatherwood, Kenneth's daughter. This time they will unveil the memorial stone.
On behalf of the Steamville Masonic Lodge, I'd like to introduce to you John Musgrove, who is a past master of the Steamville Masonic Lodge.
We gather in his memory and say a few words in his honor.
I'd like to introduce Charles Leatherwood, the commander of the 2nd Texas Frontier District, Sons of the Confederate Veterans.
Really proud of what we've done here today. We've been on this project for 9 months, and I want to thank the following people for their faithful support and their belief in this from the conception. Start out with Kenneth Leatherwood. He was responsible for the concept of the project, the planning and the stone design that you see. The next man I want to recognize is Mr. Vance Wade. The next man was extremely vital. That is Erath County Judge Tab Thompson. Next, I want to thank the Erath County Commissioner, Mr. Joe Brown, Mr. Scott Jackson, Mr. Herbert Brown, and Mr. D. Stevens. Next, I want to thank Matt and Ryan Worthington of Worthington Monument. I want to thank the people, women, who did research on this project. Catherine Leatherwood, Amanda Pay of Tarleton State University, Susan Driscoll, and the staff of the Erath County Clerk's Office, Sharon Wabble, Betty Leatherwood, and Vicki Reynolds of the United Daughters of the Confederacy, who put an enormous amount of research time into this. And we'll start with Masonic Lodge 267, 2nd Texas Frontier District Camp 1904, Sons of Confederate Veterans. We know that this doesn't concern our organization and what we normally do, and it was the right thing to do. The Major George B. Erath, Chapter 2679, United Daughters of the Confederacy. These are the individual contributors. Vance and Amy Wade of Lacey Funeral Home, Kenneth and Catherine Leatherwood, Charles and Betty Leatherwood, Brother Heath Allen, Brother Clell Murray, Brother Leroy Griffin, and 3rd Lieutenant Commander of the 2nd Texas, Mr. Travis A. We'd like to thank the Jeep Club for their participation here and helping with the beautiful Jeeps. And particularly, we want to thank the Stephenville Police Department, the Erath County Sheriff's Office, and the Steamville Parks and Recreation Department for their help and assistance in making this done. So, Chief and Sheriff Coach, thank you so much. And we would also like to thank Mr. Brent Gray for his excellent job as Master of Ceremony, and the Reverend Joe Roberts blessing this event.
We thank you, Father, for this one and for these who serve and for those who gather together to honor them. We ask your blessings upon all. Let us remember those 2 simple words. Thank you. In Jesus' precious name, we ask these things.